We are just about to enter one of the best seasons for the greatest outfits. Now, obviously, some people are sad that summer's ending, but let's be honest, you probably put together some of your best outfits during the fall season. So here's the 10 best fall sneakers for 2023. Coming in at number 10 is the Supreme Rammellzee Nike SB Dunk Low. So these obviously dropped super recently. They were part of a Rammellzee pack with both a high top and a low top. The lows are more hyped, but are at the same time definitely going to be the go-to for any fall outfit. All of the darker colors that this pair has, like the black suede around the toe box and around the back of the sneaker, obviously the Rammellzee print, and of course the gum outsole. It's just going to pair super well with a bunch of different fall fits. Now these are definitely one of the more expensive pairs on today's list, coming in at about roughly $300, and that's obviously because this is a Supreme collaboration and of course a Nike SB Dunk Low. I mean, when you compare it to the last Supreme Dunk collaboration that they did, and that pair literally looked like a regular pair of dunks with some golden stars, this one definitely seems like at least they did something pretty different. So yes, overall, I think this is not just a different looking pair of shoes, but I think it actually looks really solid on foot. Coming in at number 9 is the Mr. Bailey Adidas Ozamorphis. So this is definitely a somewhat under the radar pair of sneakers. It's not a collaboration that everybody was talking about, but it's one of my personal favorite sneakers. If you wanted something different, this is definitely something different. Now these dropped earlier this year, completely sold out, and now you can find them for just above retail price at about $200, which I honestly think for this pair of shoes is pretty reasonable. You get an incredible unboxing experience, and the pair of shoes itself just feels super premium. The style of this shoe is definitely futuristic, and generally speaking, these are more of a fall-winter pair of sneakers, kind of work like a mixture of a sneaker boot. They're incredibly comfortable and can also act as kind of like a slip-on because they have a zip closure. You could just slide your foot in there, zip this pair up, and you're good to go. All right, taking the number 8 spot is probably one of the most popular sneakers this year. It's the Nike Zoom Vemero 5. Now this is not a revolutionary brand new sneaker from Nike, it is a retro. It's a pair of shoes that dropped ages ago, and now here in 2023, considering the whole retro running shoe trend is definitely in, this pair of shoes grew to be one of the most popular. Now besides all of the popularity and the hype, this is just generally speaking a solid pair of sneakers. It's one of the most comfortable Nike sneakers you can find. You could just slip your foot in these things and wear them all day. These were originally made for running, so the entire upper is nice and soft, and the cushioning is pretty soft too. Now how much these are going to set you back really depends on what colorway you're going for, because some colorways are super hyped, like the supersonic glow in the dark pair, which I think is probably my personal favorite, but some other really solid colorways you can find for retail at about $160, or some other ones even on sale. Speaking of favorites, coming in at number 7 is the New Balance 96. Ever since New Balance shot up in popularity, they were kind of known for the retro running shoe, which all kind of look relatively similar. However, the New Balance 9060 model seems to just perfectly package a retro runner with a super futuristic style. Now, New Balance is known for incredible materials and quality with their sneakers, and that is definitely what you're getting with this pair of shoes. It's hands down one of the most comfortable sneakers that you can buy right now. The midsole is super soft and squishy, so if you were looking for something that you could wear for the entire day, no problem, this is definitely a great option. Now, this is similar to the Zoom Vemero 5s in terms of like how much you want to spend on it. Really depends on what type of colorway you want. There's collaborations on this sneaker which will definitely cost you a lot more. However, there's a lot of available colorways which are perfect for the fall season. Right, taking the number 6 spot is a pair of shoes that you can now get for half the price. It's the Yeezy 700 Utility Black. That's right before Adidas decided to obliterate the month of August with just dropping 30 different Yeezy models, these things were actually reselling for quite a bit. And now that they've restocked, you can find a brand new pair of these things for retail or just under. Now obviously, if you've been around the channel for a while, you know that I love the Yeezy 700 model. It's incredibly comfortable. I think it looks incredibly good. And this all over murdered out colorway mixed with that gum outsole is just screaming. It's a fall sneaker. Another big reason of why I think this is such a good fall sneaker is that it kind of looks better with wear. Because it is covered in a really nice soft hairy suede, when you get a couple scuffs or just the suede starts getting a little bit worn in, I actually think it looks a lot better than it is brand new. Coming in at number 5 is pretty self-explanatory. It's the Jordan 3 Palomino. The Jordan 3 silhouette has had some banger colorways this year, and this Palomino one is just perfect for the fall time. The mixture of darker and lighter browns just go together absolutely perfectly. I actually really like the way that this elephant print looks in all over brown. It kind of reminds me of like if you took a regular pair of 3s and just coffee dyed it. Now the upper suede material that you find on here is actually really interesting because it almost feels like a cracked leather. So in terms of the materials that you get on here, it's actually really nice. Right, taking the number 4 spot is the Yeezy 500 Tactical Boot. This is such a wild pair pair of Yeezys. It dropped during the last restock back in August. It's a pair of Yeezys that they have obviously been working on for a very long time, and I think they were supposed to release back in 2022, but yeah, we know the story. They dropped this year. Now, one of my biggest problems with this pair of shoes is the retail price, right? $300 is quite a big ask, but thankfully, I think because there was just so many Yeezy releases in the month of August, you can find these things for about $250. Now, this being a pair of boots is honestly kind of like, if you're not going to be wearing these during fall or winter time, well, when are you going to be wearing them? Because of their design, it's not something that I would typically wear with a pair of shorts. I think they do look best with longer trousers or just full winter outfits. Now, again, this kind of falls into a little bit more of a sneaker boot category, because in the landscape of boots, it's actually incredibly light. It's super easy to walk around and maneuver in. Like, it just feels super good and comfortable on foot. It's definitely not a massively chunky pair of shoes. It's certainly not heavy. It's actually quite lightweight. It also has one of the more quirky features where the laces are actually fire starters. So if you're ever in a situation where you have to start a fire, you can use the laces as kindling. I think it's a solid pair of boots. It's made very well. It's actually very, very practical for a hyped up Yeezy sneaker. All right, before we jump into the top three, you know we got to go through some of these honorable mentions, and we're going to start off with one which you're probably going to wonder why is not in my top 10. It's the Jordan 1 Black Toe. Look, yes, I get it. This is one of the best Jordan 1s that's dropped this entire year. I had to include it. There's nothing about this pair of shoes that distinctively screams the fall time. There's nothing about it that really screams summertime. It literally could be worn year round. But like I said, it's one of the best Jordan 1s of this entire year, and because the Jordan 1 hype is probably at an all-time low, at least for the past few years, you can get these things for a much better price than you would have been able to a couple years ago. It's actually turning out to be one of my favorite new sneakers, and that is the New Balance Warped Runner. This is a brand new design from New Balance and definitely adds a lot more futuristic to what you would typically think of New Balance for. It is more of a streamlined, minimal running style silhouette. It's got a huge stack of foam which feels incredible on foot. Trust me, this is definitely one of the most comfortable sneakers here in 2023. But I definitely think if you're someone looking for comfort or just an all-day easy wear pair of shoes for the fall time, this is definitely a solid option. Last honorable mention is actually upcoming. It's going to be dropping in the next few weeks, and that is the Jordan 3 J Balvin. Now look, this is hands down, in my opinion, the best J Balvin collaboration that we've seen to date. In fact, the more I see this sneaker, the more I like it. The more I see it on foot, I think these things are going to be a banger. It's a really subtle kind of earth-toned pair of Jordan 3s with some aged effect in there, and it just leaves all of the color right to the back of the pair of sneakers. Yes, if you're watching this video ahead of the release, they drop on September the 23rd, and yes, they're going to sell out and be hard to get. All right, guys, coming in at number 3, the Jordan 4 Thunder. Yes, this is hands down one of the best Jordan 4 releases. It just kind of got overshadowed by the Nike SB4s and all of the hype that that pair of shoes has. It's definitely an iconic colorway of the Jordan 4 coming back in its original form this year. Now, these are definitely not that cheap considering it is a Jordan 4, and obviously it's a very hyped up colorway, so you're looking at anywhere between $250 and $300. Now, honestly, I do think that this is definitely a year-round pair of shoes. It doesn't really matter what season you rock this pair of shoes in. Personally, I think these things look best with fall winter time outfits. Taking the number 2 spot is the Yuto Horigome Nike SB Dunk Low. Now, this is another pair of SB Dunks that just dropped, and it also happened to be one of the most limited dunks this entire year. Now, look, this is definitely going to be one of my favorite dunks to drop. I think just the collaboration makes a lot of sense. Obviously, Yuto Horigome is the first person to ever win gold at the Olympic skateboarding. And I think that kind of collaboration with Yuto Horigome and Nike SB is just something that's kind of timeless. Now, it's not just the collaboration that I think is so good, but the sneaker itself is incredibly good looking. It's got a lot of earth tones in there, the sail leather, the steel gray, the brown overlays. It's a super versatile colorway, something that you can wear with a ton of different outfits just because of how simple the colors are on the sneaker. And coming in at number 1 is the Jordan 1 Palomino. Look, from a colorway and value proposition, this pair of shoes is just a no-brainer. Again, it's just a colorway that is just perfect for fall outfits. All over black, the coffee brown that you find all over the sneaker, the sailed out midsole. It's just a great colorway of the Jordan 1. Again, similar to most Jordan 1s at the moment, these things are going for retail or even less. If you're someone who's smart enough not to pay $2,000 for a pair of Travis Scott Jordan 1s, or someone who also doesn't want to pay $500 plus for the Mocha one, this is a great option. But guys, that is my list. Let me know your thoughts on this down in the comment section if you would add anything in. If you want the details on the latest sneakers dropping right around the corner, well, check that video out right over there.